I'm going to offer a simple tip to help with memorizing songs, especially when the songs are improvised, when they're recorded. So, see if you recognize this. I'm going to change the input level. The Shure MV88 is great. 88 plus. Why don't I turn on the snare? Sorry. Turn the input back up. Voice, voice, voice. There we go. Okay, I'm just checking this out for the first time, actually, that it can do that. So, the opening and closing of the hi-hat and the stepping of the hi-hat are what's tough to memorize because that part was improvised. How do I memorize that? Well, again, this isn't the transcription route where you just look at it and go, oh, it's on this beat, that beat, which is helpful. But because I'm playing bars of 7/4 and 6/4, so I'm counting to 7 and counting to 6, the hi-hat's opening in a different spot every time. Having gone back to analyze the song a little bit, I noticed that the hi-hat hits move backwards and that they're not in random spots at all. They occur relative to when the feet are not in use, as I'm playing some of the kick drum parts with both feet to get a more transient sound with the beater sticking into the head. So, and just like the mic just distorted when I when I punched my hand. So, the first open hi-hat beat is after the very last snare drum hit in the second bar. So it's a bar of 7 and a bar of 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that open hi-hat happens after the 6th beat of the second bar. It then happens before the 3rd beat in the 6th bar, and it moves its way back. So I memorized part of that with my sense of touch, meaning my hand's moving out this way. That's the first one. All right, it's going out, and then it's coming back in. You know, it's occurring before a snare drum hit. Then the next section, it occurs before the snare drum hit in the last beat of the first bar, and then it finally occurs after the first snare drum hit in the first bar. So it moves its way backwards, if that makes any sense. That memorization by feel is associated with commands in the mind, like, oh, here's the first verse. This is the open hi-hat protocol. That's the protocol for that. So if you see the song form in a grid, which is what I teach in my, or taught in my rock repertoire class at Berkeley and what I have classes on, you get a picture, a roadmap of the whole song. So you can see how many verses there are. Not linearly, not on a bunch of pages and sheet music, in a linear fashion. It's hard to block form that and see it in chunks. This memorization is the minutia. So when I understand what the shape of the song is and how many verses there are, I'm thinking, well, what's the protocol for each one? Because they're all improvised, but it's not chaos. There's a protocol. For example, and this will be the last thing I say, there's the intro of the song. There are no open hi-hat, that move. It kicks in after the first couple of rounds, and they work backwards. So the next time the verse hits, the ghost notes are not on the snare. The protocol is that the ghost notes move over to the secondary hi-hat. It's the second occurrence, second verse, secondary. I mean, I do stuff like that because it helps me remember where things are and to get a different sound, because it is, prog rock music, and one of the things about it is to just not repeat yourself the whole tune. So, depending on the song, of course. So, the protocol for the next verse and section involves ghost notes on the mini snare. So it kind of progresses like that, and there's a protocol for each one. The open hi-hats in the other sections, when they occur, they're just like the very first time, and they open after the last snare drum hit in the second bar, and then there's a secondary one that's always different. And I just remember which one that is by practicing it. So that's how it is. And that's my tip for memorizing songs. So that's that. Hopefully, if anyone's into memorizing stuff that I played with Dream Theater, that is one way to do it, and you'll find that to permeate all of the tracks on every record. Because I did video record this last album, and I haven't done that for the other album, because it's the easiest thing is just watch somebody play. But still, even when you do that, it's helpful to know these commands and things. It helps me remember it. So there you go.